going back to last season, last draft, Trey Lance at 3 and Kyle Pitts at 4.
Jamar Chase at 5?
Hindsight. Now, that was an expensive, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted the Falcons to take Justin Fields at number 4. I was a big Justin Fields fan. I advocated taking him number 2 overall, frankly. No hindsight change, whether he pans out or not. That's what I wanted at the time. One of the reasons why is because it is so GD expensive to get a quarterback. Ask the 49ers. That was an expensive deal.
In hindsight, I'm thinking the move was not to move up to 3 because whoever you take at 3 is too much pressure. You gave up the Deshaun Watson package for a college player. You can't do it. I think that was a mistake. You set up Trey Lance for failure in the sense that he could never live up to that. He would have to be Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, one of the two. Otherwise, you're not good enough. And he was never going to be that good.
Yeah, ever. When you're talking about a guy who played at that level
for 1 year.
1 year at that level, that is awfully expensive. I mean,
and you made the trade coming off the pandemic. You had to understand that you're drafting. You didn't have enough information. The evidence wasn't there, and it was bad. It was a mistake. I like Trey Lance, but whoa.
Yeah, that was an expensive deal. It's the one. It's like, okay, there were 3 quarterbacks seemingly. As someone who was watching the Falcons rebuild, I was like, why didn't they send that to us? That was a deal that would have been just a dream. Instead,
Miami got it.
You can't block, tackle, or cover, and you're going to take a tight end? Are you freaking kidding me?
Good point.
But that was before it was known that.
What if you had taken Jamar Chase instead?
Well, Jamar Chase, you needed a replacement for Julio Jones. I'm like, okay. And Kyle Pitts was drafted. He played his first game at 20 years old.
Yeah.
He's young. He could be a good player for a long, long time. But the 49ers have the resources to. Oh, man, what was your initial thought? At the time when they moved up, was your, I wouldn't want to give up that much draft capital for.
My initial thought was, wow, that's a lot to give up for the 3rd pick in the draft, not the 1st or the 2nd, but there must be someone they really, really, really like. And they take Trey Lance, and ever since they've taken him, they've never given off the indication that they really, really like him. I mean, ever since they've taken him, they've pretty much given off vibes of buyer's remorse. So I've never really understood it.
Well, and Jordy says, Mr. Kennedy coming in ripping on Trey. No, I'm not. I just think it was
he's not.
It really doesn't have anything to do with Trey. It was expensive to move up into that number 3 slot. I didn't say he was a bust.
Once they got to 3, I think he was the right. I think you have to take a quarterback. I actually argued that they should take Pitts at the time, but I think you probably have to take a quarterback.
You have to. And that's why the Falcons were, I was like, the Falcons need to talk up Mac Jones. They need to talk up Justin Fields. Because if they're going to trade down, they have to have somebody come up for a quarterback. No, I'm not ripping on Trey. I just think that it was a really, really risky deal.
No, this is more of a critique of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, which is fair. I mean, it hasn't worked out so far. He's played 4 games.
Well, and
he hasn't developed.
We talked about this. We thought it was going to be Mac Jones at the time.
Yeah. The whole world did.
That blew my mind.
It's almost like people were saying so in the organization, and they changed their mind at the last minute. I don't even know what was going on there, but too many people had information that was going to happen.
When I saw Mac Jones at the Senior Bowl, I was like, okay. And I watched him at Alabama a lot. And then I was seeing him at the Senior Bowl. I'm like, all right, maybe this guy could sneak into the 1st, and the Falcons could trade down. And if they want to get a quarterback, this would be a guy. Number 3 and 3 first
that's the thing.
You're out of your mind.
Even if they had gotten Mac Jones, is he better than Jimmy?
Is Mac Jones? Mac Jones was a solid quarterback who went to the best team of the rookies. Of course,
you're trying to replace Jimmy Garoppolo, and you bring in the next Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, what did you do? They couldn't take Mac Jones.
To me, was far and away number 1. Yeah. Was an easy number 1, and then I would have gone Justin Fields next.
Well, so everyone's like pretty much writing off Justin Fields. I think it's unfair. He may never work out, but that might be the Bears' fault. What if he had gone to Philly? You're telling me he couldn't do what Jalen Hurts is doing right now if he were on a good team with good coach? Same with Trey Lance. I feel like there are certain ways to develop quarterbacks like this, and certain teams get it and certain teams don't. Philly gets it. And if Jalen Hurts I saw Jalen Hurts in college. He's not great. He's really good now, though. I feel like Justin Fields could do the same thing if he'd been developed the same way.
Yeah, I did something like this with a Bears group, and they were, I just mentioned criminal negligence for Thomas Dimitroff and the Atlanta Falcons. That's how they feel about the Chicago Bears coaching staff last year, and Justin Fields. And I think the 49ers did it the right way, honestly. By letting Trey Lance sit a year and having a good quarterback, and then saying, okay, we're going to move on. You're our guy. You've had a year in this, basically a redshirt season. I think they did do it the right way. It's just unfortunate he got hurt. I would have loved to see his arc.
Yeah. We were all looking forward to it. Here's my theory. They had a plan for Trey. You saw it last year when he came in week 16 against the Texans. He wasn't running quarterback power. He was running the offense, and he won. And what happened was he didn't play that well in training camp. I think his completion percentage was probably 54. But in hindsight, I think the Niners overreacted. Look at his defense. This defense is really tough on everyone they face. And I think they're like, oh, God, this guy can't throw. All right, let's just run around for a little bit, and then he'll, gain confidence in his arm. He just was going against the best defense in the league. The Niners panicked a little bit and ran him too much to start the season. I think that was a mistake. I think that was a big mistake there.
But I'm just saying on the big picture, not putting him in right away and letting him get his feet wet before saying, okay, you're the guy, I think was the right way.
Also, Justin Fields, his number one receiver is Dante Pettis. Guy has no chance. Nothing against Dante Pettis.
And that was kind of their point.
Yeah.
That was kind of their point. It's like, who's he supposed to throw to? That said, like I said, he had a layup. It was a nice little play action. Tight end leaks into the backside of the end zone, and it's a free throw. And oh God, he overthrew him.
It's just amazing to see these quarterbacks lose confidence in 2 years. I mean, this is a guy who never lost in college. Great athlete. 2 years on the Chicago Bears, and he's missing layups. Like, yeah, that's what the Bears do to you. That's what they do to you. They've been doing that to quarterbacks since 1965. Sorry.
And that's the biggest fear. It's like when you have Trevor Lawrence going to the Jaguars. You're like, these guys going to bad teams. Like, you're going to get the hell beat out of them. That's why I just said. And the thing is, Trey Lance went to a good team. The 49ers traded up.
It was a different kind of pressure on the Niners.
He didn't get drafted by the third worst team in the NFL.
No. The thing with Trey, it's not you're going to lose your confidence. It's you can't develop. You cannot develop. The team is ready. That you're replacing an established quarterback. You have to be better than Jimmy from day one, and that was hard because it seems like a project like that was never going to be better than Jimmy from day one. But you had to sort of go with the process, like the Bills did with Josh Allen. You have to commit to it.
Well, you know how it goes. If I'm going to give up 3 first-round picks, by God, he's going to play.
Exactly. But the Niners never committed to it like that. Anyway,
he's definitely
when they kept Jimmy on the team as a backup, it kind of felt like a hedge.